Ladies, I had a bit of a revelation the other day, an epiphany, and so I thought I'd share this with you because maybe it will benefit you in your marriage as well. I was reading a very familiar verse. I've read it so many times, but a new application kind of popped out at me, and it's related to marriage. It's Hebrews 10:24, which says, "Let us consider thoughtfully how to spur one another on toward love and good deeds." And all of a sudden I realized that this applies to marriage, and that the way that I can spur my husband on toward love and good deeds toward me, not that it's all about me, but hang on here. The way that I can do that so that I'm not constantly disappointed that he's not speaking my love language, he's not making me feel loved, the way that I can avoid that pit of disappointment is to actually tell him clearly what makes me feel loved. Now, I know some of you have already read the book Love Languages, and you already have told your husband, hey, this is my love language. But I bet you some of you are disappointed that you don't really feel like he's speaking that love language, whether it's physical touch, or whether it's acts of service, or quality time, or gifts, or words of affirmation. Mine happens to be gifts, which is like the most misunderstood love language. But in order to feel loved, I need to have someone get me a gift, which means that they thought of me, they were thinking of me, or they wouldn't have bought a gift. They were thinking of me. See how that makes me feel loved? And then they took the time and energy and thought to put into the, getting the right gift and actually having to go to the store or whatever it is. And flowers, oh yeah, that's my love language. So the other day, this is actually a couple of months ago, it dawned on me that I should actually tell my husband what actually makes me feel loved. He knew that gifts was my love language, but because it's not his, he doesn't really get it. He doesn't get it because it's like a foreign language to him. So I realized that maybe I should tell him in plain speak, when you buy flowers for me, it makes me feel loved. I love flowers. I know that you had to take the time and energy to go pick out the flowers because you were thinking of me. It makes me feel loved. And so guess what happened this past Mother's Day? Even though I'm not his mom, I still came home to him having a dozen red roses for me, and he even went further than that because he remembered that recently I told him that my very, very favorite flower is ranunculus. And so he had gone to a lot of effort to find the only place locally that sells ranunculus. He tracked them down, found it, and there were those flowers waiting for me as well. And it's all because I decided to actually communicate in a plain and clear way so that I wouldn't just be disappointed, constantly, perpetually disappointed that he's not speaking my love language. Again, that verse, Hebrews 10:24, says that we should spur one another on toward love and good deeds, but maybe your husband feels the spurring, but you're not actually telling him how to do it. And then again, we're in this pit of disappointment with our husbands. I make even thinking for myself here that there's another area of life not having to do with love languages, but I don't think I've been clear in communicating to my husband that I really value something so very much, and I don't see him valuing it the same, and so I'm disappointed. But maybe I need to clearly tell him how much this is of value to me. At least tell him clearly in plain speak so he has a chance to actually show that he will care about that too and sow into that as well. Again, plain speak, kind of important. Hebrews 10:24. Read it with that new perspective in mind. I think it'll help your marriage and maybe pull you out of the pit of perpetual disappointment.